This is the part where I'll add in the intro music.
Yeah, your mic's on?
I'm pretty certain. I did double check. We need to fix this fucking. We need to literally get a room for podcast.
Need a pod.
I'm gonna move out and get a room.
Someone the other day I was talking to about our podcast and was like, yeah, I'd love to come in and see the studio. I was like, right now we don't have one, but yeah, you're more than welcome to see it.
It's a studio, alright.
Yeah.
It's a studio. It's fun.
No.
Is that on? Should we leave this whole thing in there?
Yeah. Episode 8.
I think it's episode 9.
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be a hell of an episode. We've got a lot of things to unpack here.
We do.
What's been happening?
We just went down south for the weekend. Bit of R&R.
Yeah.
So, you know, beautiful yelling up, southwest region.
Beautiful southwest region, yeah.
Of Western Australia. The weather wasn't the greatest. It was a lot of rain, but still really nice.
What'd you do in the rain?
I was showing Marnie's parents around. So they're from England, living in Dubai at the moment. So for them to checking out our coast, they still loved it. Like,
yeah.
It was obviously not good weather, but...
Was it at least sunny enough that the water looked really nice, or?
Some parts, yeah. Like, you got a hint of the sun where it just shined on the water.
Yeah.
And it was really nice too. But because we've seen it at its best, it was like, you didn't want to keep saying, oh, I'll wait until you see...
I do that. I'm bad.
I'm bad at it. I was trying not to do that. So I was just letting them enjoy it, but they loved it.
Yeah, I do that. That's one of the things that I need to not do.
How about you? What's been going on?
Just working.
Yeah?
That's it.
Days off?
Everyone keeps asking me, what's been happening? Anything new? No?
Yeah.
Look at my face. Does it look like there's anything new? I'm dishevelled as.
Respect.
Last day off. I thought about it last night. I think like 33 days I've had one day off. And that was when my fucking bone was hanging out of my skin, mate. Because that's the only thing that's going to stop me from making SJs better.
When you drove to the hospital?
Yeah.
That was a good day.
But, no, that's it. Nothing new. Just literally working heaps. It's actually the point. My entire life I've always put fitness first. Like physical activity, and this is the first real time in my life. There has been in the past, but this is like becoming very common now where like I won't train.
Yeah.
I'll wake up, go to work at 5, and then I'll be like, oh, I can train here or here, and then ultimately it gets to 5 p.m. and I just think, yeah, nah, I've got work, I've got more stuff to do, like I'm not going to be able to train today.
And you're too cooked mentally.
Yeah, but I'm not really upset about it. Most times I do train, like 90% of the time I will just train at like 8:30 or whatever at night. But there will occasionally be once or twice where I'm just, I've got to wake up in 7 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, prioritise.
Got to go home and eat and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, you got to make those sacrifices sometimes.
Fortunately. Yeah.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That's how you get the cheese.
Yeah.
Not enough people willing to sacrifice, bruz. And a bit of sacrifice ultimately ends up being a bit of success, usually.
Yeah.
But if it does, have you ever thought about what you're going to do if you don't become successful in this field?
Nah. No.
You just banking on it?
I just know it will come, so.
Yeah.
Like, however long that takes.
No, darky.
Obviously, you do have your, like, bad days when, I don't know, you get 4 cancellations, and you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
People buying houses, and you're just like, do I deserve a coffee, or? But,
yeah.
Nah, ultimately, not really.
But I mean, it seems to be very common that owning a house or purchasing a home is the barometer of success.
Legit. That's so true.
But I think
it is.
Back in the day, I used to think it was dumb. The older I get, I start to think, yeah, it is an achievement to get a house.
Yeah.
But nobody actually owns a house.
No.
They just asked the bank for a large sum of cash, and the bank said yes, and they owe the bank money. But the fact that they got the loan is really good.
Yeah, it's a big achievement.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get a house one day. PT trap house.
The older I'm getting, I honestly am like, I don't care that much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just live somewhere good, whether that's renting or buying a house. Of course, like if someone said, oh, you have the opportunity to buy this sick house comfortably in a sick area, of course you'd want it. That'd be dumb not to.
Yeah.
But just think, because I'm a very sporadic person, usually like the last 6 months I've probably been not as sporadic, but usually I'm just all over the place and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go on this holiday, I'll go on this trip, I'll do this random thing. Probably not conducive to owning a home and having a large mortgage.
Yeah.
So I like the thought of rent. I used to hate the thought of renting, and now I really like it because I feel like it's a bit of freedom. The only negative is obviously paying rent while you're doing stuff away, not at the house.
Because there's the idea is like, why pay someone else's mortgage when you can just pay your own?
Exactly.
But obviously the freedom of if you're renting, you can literally
just be like, oh, I'm going to duck out for 6 months and I don't have to pay any overhead or anything.
Legit.
Yeah, but then you can just rent your house out if you've got a house.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to purchasing a home, but the fact that purchasing a home is the barometer of success is, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey or... No, it was Heath Ledger. Was said something along the lines of, whenever anybody asks how I am or how I'm doing, they never ask if I'm alright, or they never answer with like, I'm good, I'm happy.
Yeah.
No one ever says, oh, like, how's things? They're always just like, oh, how's work? They're never like, are you happy? And someone's like, yeah, I'm happy. Or someone with a hell good, high paying job could be like, I'm actually extremely unhappy, but I got paid bank and I got a jet ski, my buddy.
Yes, I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. Not sure how we got on that tangent, but...
Yeah. We often like to ramble.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, you reckon we equally ramble?
Oh, you and I?
Yeah.
No, I'd say you ramble a little bit more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm the MC of our world, our universe.
Yep. We'll say that.
So, the question you raised earlier, how much would you pay for a practitioner?
Yeah. Because obviously we're in the field of, we're PTs, so we charge a certain amount for a session. But then if you did a uni reverse card and someone was like, okay, you're going to pay for this for an hour, would you pay...
My own prices?
Yeah.
It's all context dependent, so it depends who I'm paying. But if I'm paying a good PT, like I'd imagine I am, look, I've been in the trenches, I've done the hard yards, I feel like I'm very capable of being a great PT, and I feel like I've got some results that show that. So yeah, I would, especially because you think you're paying for the outcome, you're not so much paying for the...
If you're wanting to see, or if you're paying for a PT or a physio, you should have trust in what they're doing, and if you want that outcome, I think it's fine to spend it.
Yeah, and it's...
Whatever, obviously, the better the coach, generally the more they are, but if you have trust and confidence in them that you're going to get an outcome, I think it's worth it.
That's one of the biggest parts about personal training, physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, rehabilitation coaches and all that jazz. The difference between like a good one and like a above average one is not that much, to be honest. And it's mostly up to the client.
Yeah.
Being motivated, being committed, really wanting it. Like you can have the best S&C coach or PT in the entire universe, but if you're not sticking to their plan or you're like skipping too many sessions, you're not going to get as good of a result as to whether you had like a mediocre PT but you stuck to the cause. Yeah.
And when people are like straight away hesitant to like the price, sometimes it's like an indicator that like they want it but they don't want it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they want results, I think they'll pay for it.
If they know that.
Because they know that they're not committing to it forever.
Yeah.
They might just want to do it for 6 weeks to learn a few things and then take those learnings in their own journey. But if they're going to see a positive to it, they'll pay for it.
Yeah, I guess it depends on people's relationship with money and finances
100%.
as well, because I would shit myself when I've bought programs off of coaches, I've been, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, that's quite a lot of money. But then you think about it and it's worth it in your head. But a lot of my favourite clients are ones that come to me and they're like 6 to 8 weeks, need to get better at this, this and this.
Yeah.
And they're like seriously committed and you're like...
They're really keen.
And then they leave and you just like set them free like a dove in the air. Go free. You know now. You know.
Because like you've done your job.
Yeah.
In that period, you've taught them everything that they need to do on their own.
Yeah.
And you feel good about yourself.
Because the shit thing about being a PT is that you have to have money. And like I think a lot of people just take the piss out of that.
Yeah.
Whereas like some people, this is a bit of a tangent because I'm about to say like some people probably don't need a PT for like a year.
No.
And then people abuse that. But then sometimes people have a PT for a year and they don't necessarily need them for the specific PT stuff, but they might just like have great conversations with them and need that guidance and stuff like that too. They may have the knowledge already, but they may need that like extra kick
support,
to continue going.
It's just at the end of the day what you value. If they see a benefit to it and they value your time, they're going to pay for it.
So how much would you pay for a practitioner if you wanted to get like really good at something?
Like the most I'd pay for like an hour session. If it was just like a one-off, I don't know, I'd be probably willing to pay like $200 to $300.
Yeah.
So if it's someone that you really like and you know that you're going to get something out of it, I'd easily pay that.
Yeah, well, I mean, for my physio,
how much
charges over $200, but I usually go like once a year.
Yeah.
And then I leave knowing so much shit, it's not even funny.
And that's so much value.
And you literally can't, we can buy it, you just have to pay a practitioner money, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But you can't label money on that, because I would pay fucking $400 sometimes. When I leave the door, if someone came up to me with like a little response note thing, how did this go, and was like, would you pay twice the amount of money for what you just experienced? I would, majority of the times, yeah.
100%. So if David Gray was like, imagine if David Gray was in Rockingham and he's like, I'm doing 1 hour sessions, I don't know how much he charges.
For 600 quid, would you do it?
For 600 quid?
Yeah.
1,200 Australian dollars? Whoa. For an hour?
See, that sometimes I see a seminar where it's like literally like 800 quid and you're like, fuck, that's a lot, man.
But you learn, but it's like doing a course kind of thing.
I know, but it's
a lot of
I'm not
money.
saying, but sometimes that's when I look at something in terms of finances and I'm like, or you're like, that course, that 1 day seminar you're doing looks sick. How much is that? And they're like, $1,500. You're like, that's 2 weeks of my wage.
Yeah. It's like, it all comes down to what you value and how much you value it.
Yeah, definitely.
If he's doing or he or she are doing a topic of something that you kind of already know, you probably won't value it as much. If Austin Horn, that guy that you're loving at the moment,
he does how expensive courses.
if he came to Perth,
yeah, I'd have to go.
I reckon you would go and you'd pay whatever it is.
I'd have to. I'd probably pay. He's just framed this question in a particular way where I have like a real genuine response to it. So yeah, I would pay probably like definitely more than $500.
If you knew that, because you'd walk away from that confident in a lot of things where you back yourself a lot more. I think you'd pay a fair amount.
What if I went and then on the way out he was like, hey, just letting you all know I'm giving you all $1,200 each.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be sick, eh?
What would you do with it?
I'd probably reinvest it into him. Probably buy another course.
Imagine if he's like, here's $1,200, and then he goes, oh, while you're at it, my course is $1,200. You'd just put it straight in there.
Just straight through the tab, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if I'm wanting to learn something or wanting to get something out of a particular someone, I'd pay a fair amount. Like a lot, I reckon. Yeah,
for the people listening or watching or whatever, the way you frame it is extremely important. So when you go to a PT and they're like, it's going to be $60 for an hour session, which is very rare nowadays. People charge like out of their ass.
Yeah.
You don't think, my mechanic and great friend Kestrel Manhattan said this to me when I was a lot younger, because he's a mechanic. And it really framed this well for me. I was like, why the fuck do we pay so much for like a general service on a car?
Yeah.
It's only going to be in there for like an hour. And he was like, well, you pay for an hour of our time, which is the least important thing you're paying for. You're paying for the years and years of like hours and hours of time we spent gaining the knowledge and experience that we have and the skills. And you're also paying us for having like $50,000 of tools that you don't have.
Yeah.
And that really put into perspective, because I was like, okay, I'm not trading money for time here. I'm literally trading money for like a vast variety of different things that, like I just mentioned. I think the same with PTs. Sometimes we charge like the cheapest we know out of PTs.
Yeah. And
sometimes I'm like, fuck, is this still too much? And then I think, I've probably spent well over 10,000 hours, easily over 10,000 hours studying. Just studying for free. And then I post so much information for free to help people. I'm just spending hours and hours and hours of unpaid.
Yeah.
And so that $60 we charge for an hour or whatever it is doesn't reflect me giving you an hour. It reflects everything.
All the work you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So we're worth the money.
Yeah. So does that answer your question, champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You got... All right, just a final thing on that question. If you are charging ridiculous amounts of cash, like ridiculous amounts, you have to be bullshit good.
I agree.
Yeah, you can't demand hundreds of dollars an hour.
If you don't know your shit.
If you
haven't put in the work.
Yeah.
Like, just have some respect. Jump.
What's in our gym bags? Necessary or not? So I don't actually... This question idea came to me because you know how you see people literally carrying around their
actual gym bags?
Duffel workout bags?
Instead of putting it in the lockers?
Yeah, it's just cringe. There's a time and place, but I think there's a few boxes you need to be able to tick to carry around a gym bag, right? But totally disregarding that, obviously there's times where you would carry a gym bag. I mean, I have before.
Skiffo does.
Yeah, there's stuff in the bag that you're carrying around that you need to use while you're training. So what is it? I'll go through. My gym bag is just my work bag. It's a tote bag from that Esperance shop.
Good shop.
What's it called?
I forgot.
Our friend works there anyway. Shouts out to them. Anyway, really good tote bag. Got it on special. But I carry around like 4 books. A couple with... one with Slovenian study in it. 2 with like normal S&C health study. And then 1 that's like kind of just filled with a bunch of anonymous shit. And I carry around my laptop and my water bottle and 2 pens. But the only thing I have in there that's actually got anything to do with the gym is wrist straps.
Yeah. So exact same as me. I carry a Kathmandu backpack.
Yeah.
I used to go, what do you call the side bags?
Tote.
I used to have a tote bag, but now I've got the backpack, only because I was riding for a bit. So you can't really ride with a tote bag. Anyway, similar to you, I've got a laptop, I've got a notebook, got my hard drive.
Yeah, my hard drive's in my laptop, that's a given.
Got my water bottle, got a few pens, and then I carry my lunch. Yeah. But lifting straps.
That's it? That's the only piece of like actual gym equipment you got in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So, in regards to the actual question, I think that's the main one.
Yeah.
Lifting straps.
So what else would you have in a bag? So I would if I was like a proper gym bro, I'd probably have a lifting belt.
Yeah.
Like if I was doing regular, heavy high efforts.
Or you could also add in sniffing salts. If someone's going really heavy.
Yeah.
And that one, the extra kick.
Agreed. I'd probably carry some chalk in there.
Yeah.
A towel.
Yeah.
Gum.
Yeah. Deodorant.
Deodorant.
I do carry deodorant.
I'd carry around like a really good resistance band, like one of those PGF thick ones.
We did, like a dip belt?
Yeah, dip belt.
Because you said lifting belt, but a dip belt also.
I'd get a...
Even though most gyms do have one.
Well, do they? I don't think they do.
Yeah, but for example, at Revo, like, they have got a belt squat machine. So you could just take the belt off that.
Yeah, but I honestly think most gyms don't have lifting belts.
Because they get stolen.
Do they? Yeah.
So yeah, one of them. If you want to take a few supplements, I guess, but it's not needed.
No, but you would, like, you see Stifler with his pre-workout and stuff like that in there, so...
But some people struggle to take supplements, so if they want to create a habit of, like, taking creatine, you could put creatine in your gym bag.
Yeah.
So then you have it regularly.
But I can't really think of anything to do with lifting or gym stuff.
Oh, headphones?
Yeah, headphones for sure. But I reckon that's it. Maybe a pump cover.
Yeah, you love a pump cover.
So are all these people carrying all that shit in their bags?
Yeah. Stifler is.
Even, you see like the 5'4" girls that are carrying around like the giant bag.
I think people are just worried about...
People stealing it?
Yeah, putting their stuff just in the lockers. Because I've heard some stories about people, like, someone I knew had his keys in one of those lockers. And someone came in, grabbed his keys, ran out, stole his car.
Fuck off.
No joke, this is in Perth.
What?
But they only got, like, down the road and then they left the car.
Dude, that is wild. Imagine that.
So, like, that's what I think people are just worried.
Yeah.
Because one of my clients, she just has a tote bag and she brings it with her. And I remember, I've said it before, I was like, there are lockers there, but she was a bit worried about, like, someone going through it. Which I guess is fair enough. If you're worried...
Mate, my client left her wedding ring or engagement ring at a squat rack at Kwinana Gym for about 25 minutes.
Gee.
It literally didn't get stolen.
That's good though.
It's actually surprising, like the amount of shit that's left at the gym or in the gyms, and like no one's, like a ring, a phone, and no one steals it.
People do have respect for it. I've left my both earbuds for about 2 hours, like at a squat rack, and then I just happened to go to that exact squat rack 2 hours later when I was training a client. I was like, oh, someone left it, and then I realised they were mine. Oh, I was lucky, and I only just got them.
Do you reckon it's got something to do with like people that go into the gym, you'd probably imagine are more inclined to be good people? Like they already care about their health, so you'd imagine they've got good morals and stuff like that.
It's a bit of gym etiquette, isn't it? Because like, they probably know they do the same thing.
Yeah, you get that good
So it's
karma.
like, what goes around comes around. I reckon.
Because I know at festivals, like, say for example at a festival, I've dropped my wallet once and like someone picked it up, took all the cash out and left it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not happening at one of our gyms that much.
No.
Or maybe it's because there's so many people and they just obviously see.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There's a lot of cameras.
Yeah. But I don't really understand why people carry around these big ass gym bags, but
yeah, okay.
That's what would probably be in it, and that would be the answer to my question.
That covers all the important stuff.
Yeah. A little bit of more important stuff. Do you need to perform designated mobility?
Well, it depends what your goal is. You don't need to.
Yeah.
But if your range of motion is bad, you want to improve it. Yeah, do it. It just depends. Who is it?
Just everyday normal person, I think. Obviously, if you're a gymnast...
It's not gonna be a negative, I don't think.
That depends how far down the rabbit hole you go with that question.
Yeah. But like, doing basic mobility, I don't think it's gonna be a negative.
No, it wouldn't.
But it's not saying that if you're not doing it, you don't have to worry about it.
Well,
stress about it.
If you go to the gym and you train normally...
Yeah.
you will be getting shitloads of mobility. If you squat,
100%, yeah.
you're getting good hip, good ankle mobility there, even good knee mobility.
If you're hinging, you're going to get good hip mobility.
Yeah. Same with like if you're doing any back exercise, you're going to get good mobility for your shoulders.
Yeah.
Especially if you're taking it through a full range of motion. I think the most important part is going through a full range of motion. A good example would be people pressing always kind of in this fixed retracted scapular position and just arm goes up and down. But people are never, and I've noticed this as myself, is taking their scapula through that full range of motion when they're pressing.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it every time you go to the gym and train a push, but every so often, it's a good idea.
Yeah, it would be good for
to just like roll that scapula around and push something like that.
Yeah.
Because I always retract a little bit and bring that back down nice and tight, and then
especially when you're doing chest flies.
Yeah. Well, I do them about twice a year.
You do them the one time you did it last week.
But it feels good. It feels way better for my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows it too.
Yeah. That I hell don't subscribe to that idea of like full protraction of your scapula when you're pressing for
the chest.
For the chest.
Feels good though.
It doesn't for me.
That's fair enough. That's good though.
But I reckon for some people, this is where it's all context dependent. It depends on the individual. For some people, yeah, I reckon that would be good. For me, just nah.
Like, yeah, you don't see the benefit.
For me to activate my chest really well and to get that, like, the best benefits, I have to put these shoulders back and get this really big stretch here.
Yeah.
Probably because I've got a tiny chest.
Probably, yeah.
The only times I do this, protraction and pressing, is when I'm working on that. I'm not working on strength or trying to build muscle. I'm just working on taking it through a range of motion.
Good range of motion. Someone, getting back to the question with mobility, like if you want to get specific, if someone's competing in a powerlifting comp and their squat depth of the hell shit, them working on mobility is
it up to comp standard?
No.
Then yeah, you have to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it just all depends on why you want to do mobility, or if it's something that, like, are you just doing it because people say?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people look at it from the lens of like, it's going to be beneficial in terms of my general health.
Yeah.
Like just being that little bit more mobile. But like, yeah, in 90% of cases, you wouldn't get a powerlifter to do mobility really.
No.
Why would you want them to be more mobile? You just want them to be able to get into the positions they need to be in and be able to be tight AF and be able to produce force from those positions.
Yeah.
Same with like field sports, like court sports. You kind of only need to be able to get into the positions that you need to get to on the court, and then maybe like an extra 5% just as like a buffer in case you get in a bit of trouble on the court.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. People like, I remember no knees over toes was like doing the splits. Oh, this is going to make you so durable.
With excessive range of motion.
And it's like, why? You're never going to get into that position, and if you do, it's a freak accident.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
Yeah, there's a slim chance.
Yeah, I would almost argue I'd rather a tight athlete than a loose athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like tightness and producing some pretty significant force both go hand in hand a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But then obviously not in all cases. Gymnasts are pretty fucking mobile and they're pretty strong.
Really
they
strong.
can produce some good force.
Especially when people who do gymnastics from a young age, it just sets them up so well.
Oh, yeah, they'll stop at like 10 and then when they're 25 they can just rip out like a walking handstand, no problem.
Yeah, and then having like trained ages, they can just rip out like 10 pull-ups.
Yeah, so that's getting your kids to do gymnastics at a young age, that's probably the main... If you could get them into like a general sport, and yeah, just gymnastics. If I had a kid, I would probably get them to do just a general base of gymnastics. I'd get them to do some form of mixed martial arts, and then I would get them to play a team sport.
Yeah, sets them up well.
So then they're getting all like the foundational strength and mobility needs that are going to be required. They learn to protect themselves, and they also learn that violence isn't the answer to things. You can be good.
Yeah.
Like you can beat someone within an inch of their life if you want, but it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then the team sport setting will just teach them like you've got to work alongside others in an environment. You can't just do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But then doing the things themselves in gymnastics and mixed martial arts will teach them, if I need to, I can do it myself.
So you just said that that's a good approach. What do you think is the worst approach?
Early specification?
Yeah.
Early specialisation, sorry. That's the worst. Like, I want my kid to be hell good at footy, so I'm just going to get them to play footy all the time forever. Because
every day of their life, like Andre Agassi with tennis.
Oh, I've heard about that. Have you read his book?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Really good book. I've got it if you want it.
You actually, I'll get it off you. Even though I struggle to read. I just doom scroll all bad. But you see, I always used to see on the news, like this kid prodigy trains NFL like 6 times a day. And he's like far beyond everybody else, his age. And then you're like, I can't wait to see how good he's going to be one day. And it's like,
you never hear from him again.
He's like a car salesman because
so he peaked at that moment he made onto Facebook or the news. That was the moment. And that was it.
And it's just because I think early specialisation, a big problem is you don't get all those other qualities that you don't get from your sport. If you early specialise in basketball, you won't get like as good hamstrings, as durable, as powerful hamstrings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you never need to get into like full flight sprint. But also, just they hate it.
Yeah, that's
like you'll literally get over the sport and hate it, and it'll go from being something fun to being something that's like you have to be good at it.
It's like a chore.
Yeah.
And it ruins the relationship, like the parent relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, because you obviously want, I don't have kids, but you probably want your kids to do something.
Yeah.
You'd be like, it would be sick if they did this because I know they would like it. But you kind of just got to let them do whatever. And just be like, give them little sprinkles of those things and just see whether they take the bait and want to do it or they don't want to do it.
Yeah, let them taste a few things.
You never really see kids... you never see kids where their parents just push them hell hard to play the sport, but you do see a lot of kids where like their dad played this, like Steph Curry, for example. I don't think his dad forced him to ever play basketball, but that he was just surrounded by basketball.
Yeah, he was always grown up by it.
I'd say the same with like Nick Dacos. I don't think Nick Dacos would have been like absolutely forced. I think he just would have had a positive view of footy and was like, I'm always around it, this is good, I want to play it.
Yeah.
But I reckon there's a lot of kids out there that are just forced into sports who are probably more than capable of having the skills and the athleticism to perform that sport in the future at a pro level, but
they just can't stand it.
They just can't stand it.
Yeah, they've done way too much of it. It's been forced upon them.
Yeah.
Generally through the parents' lens. Because the parents want to succeed through their kids.
Yeah, living vicariously through their kids. I know some parents like that, eh?
Oh, yeah, I know a few.
And you just like...
You see it, eh? And you're like...
Yeah.
The thing that I dislike the most is when parents like ramble on about their kids like being at this certain level.
Yeah.
Oh, they're at national level. Like they're third best in the country. Oh, that's awesome. Like, what are they, 10? Yeah, gee, they're 10. Like, chill out.
Yeah, well, there's
it's good.
There's literal basketball rankings for 8-year-olds. Like, there's a national number 1 8-year-old player in America.
It's crazy.
How the fuck do you know? Yeah. Like, they're 8 years old. Like, that is not going to translate accurately to when they're 18.
It almost like sets them up for failure in a way, because they're like being told that they're the best, and then so they just think about this, and then I don't know, it just creates so much mental pressure.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I played footy with a guy that was like touted to be a top 5 pick, was undeniably going to be a top 5 pick. Just didn't end up being as good.
Yeah.
And just obviously didn't get picked up. Got hell majorly depressed. But luckily he became an influencer. So he kind of got that spirit back for living by.
Yeah.
He needed his ego fed somehow.
Yeah.
And the original blowing smoke up his arse of being hell good at footy obviously didn't pan out. And just luckily he became an influencer. But I reckon he would have been severely depressed if he didn't.
Yeah. Oh well. At least it's worked out in a way for him.
Yeah, he's enjoying his time.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you don't need to do designated mobility really. You get it from training.
Yeah. Train variously, as they say.
Yeah. Eat your protein. This pod is powered by SJ's Community, where lifting, laughing, and living better all collide. Check out our 7-day free trial via the show notes or in our Instagram. So, what's the most overrated muscle group?
Just in terms of general training?
I'm talking about functionality, but then also inclusive of aesthetics and...
Because in terms, I've got to say biceps.
I'm saying biceps.
Yeah. For like sports performance. But then,
actually, it depends what sports you're in. If you're a gymnast, you need fucking massive biceps.
Yeah. But like for like a footy player.
Yeah, no.
But then people get confident if they got big biceps that they look good in a jersey.
Yeah. I've never understood that, hey. Like, I not understand. I understand that's a concept. Like
you understand
it's singlet season all year, right?
Yeah.
So guys want to look jacked. But it does not do anything for me, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it's because I've got naturally like fine arms.
But people just, if they look good, they feel good, it's going to improve their performance.
Yeah.
If as a whole they're doing better, it's just going to be beneficial.
What about jacked shoulders though?
Yeah.
But that's not...
But they're probably if they're worried about their image, if they're not doing bicep curls, they're probably going to think like, oh gee, I've got small arms.
Yeah, true.
But if they're thinking about it that much.
Obviously dudes think about it heaps.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm trying to say, is like I don't know how it's so valued. I think it's overly valued.
Yeah.
Irregardless of the point you just made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think biceps are the most overrated.
Agree.
In terms of aesthetics and performance.
Yeah. Straight away the first thing I think of.
Yeah. Trying to think of another one. Tib anterior is probably the most overrated, I reckon. Which is the front part of your shin, pretty much. I think that's extremely overrated, but...
I used to do that heaps when I was bigger than my knees over toes.
Knees over toes made that hugely famous, hey?
Yeah.
Honestly, I reckon underrated's forearms.
Yeah.
Because I would actually start training just my forearms.
Should
just
do
for that grip strength and just brute farm strength, but also like big Popeye forearms. I'd rather that.
It does look good.
Rather that than big Giuseppe's.
Well, if you wear a shirt, but if you have big forearms, it makes you look a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You should start training your forearms.
I was thinking about it.
You should actually do a measurement.
The other day, yep. I was thinking
How about we do that?
Yeah, we should. Once footy's done, I'll literally just spam them for 2 months, like hard.
And the best thing about them is that, because with a lot of pull exercises, obviously you're going to hit your forearms. You don't have to actually do that much volume of it. Like, if you do like 4 sets a week of like pure to failure, you'd be fine, I reckon.
But I was thinking, because obviously newbie gains are real, but because I've been training my forearms not directly but indirectly for so long, would I get newbie gains from smashing my forearms? I believe I would.
You probably would, yeah, but...
And then because I believe newbie gains, the best way to go about it is definitely volume. I feel like newbies just react really well to volume. But would I do volume because they already get so much volume, or would I just spam strength?
I think volume, but just smash in intensity.
I was thinking like literally how heavy six rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What exercise would you go to?
The Zotman curls.
Yeah.
Bring that thing up, twist, back down. I'd love a bit of that. I'd just do the traditional off a
I think the best
off a bench.
is behind the back.
Yeah.
With a easy bar, but my favourite is actually just with a cable.
Yeah, true.
And
So you
just
train forearms?
Nah. Oh, I do it like every so often. But my client the other day, one of my clients, just asked about forearm exercises. So I just gave him a few. So then it made me, like the next day I did a few.
Yeah. And they blew up?
Yeah, it felt hell good.
Yeah.
A forearm pump is real. And it does feel amazing.
It does. It feels good.
But it's like one of the things where I've done an upper body sesh. I've already done like 6 exercises.
You would not do
like,
forearms at the start because that would just...
Nah. And I'm like already cooked. I'm like, I can't really be asked. It's just like hitting forearms. But if I was doing it, I would only do like 1 or 2 sets, but push hell hard.
I'm going to spam. I'm probably going to do them 3 times a week in about 2 months. That'll be hell funny.
We'll do it before and after.
Yeah. Most overrated muscle group. I think that's it, honestly. Maybe the neck. I think it's underrated for like
combat sports,
contact sports. But besides that, people that train their neck, you don't really need to unless you're getting like a bunch of low to moderate grade car crashes regularly. But things that annoy you. What's your thing for the week?
When people come to Perth and they say it's a shithole, but they only say
they just don't know
in
where
the
Perth
area.
They don't know where to go.
That triggers me. It's like, where'd you go? Oh yeah, I stayed in Perth.
Yeah.
No wonder you didn't like it because Perth City is pretty mid. Like, there's still a lot to do around the area. Like you got Kings Park and all that. But if you don't go south or north, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Perth City is one of the most cities, like quote unquote, white girl basic cities.
Yeah.
Like it's just a city. People go there, they work, and they leave. Like not even people really live there.
No. They live on like like South Perth or East Perth.
Yeah, but then that's like, yeah, not in the CBD.
There's no real like apartments.
The CBD is a real CBD.
Yeah.
But I agree. I remember, like I hear people talk about it on podcast, like Dylan Buckley's like, oh yeah, I went to the beautiful Cottesloe, and it's like, someone take this bloke on a trip, like somewhere not near the city.
Yeah, legit.
Like
Cottesloe is still, for people over east who don't have good beaches, it's still nice.
Cottesloe for me is like the equivalent of St Kilda.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, but our beach is a lot nicer compared to St Kilda.
Yeah, our beaches are way
That's
nicer.
why people over east, like, if they go to Cottesloe or Scarbs, they're like blown away. But
maybe that's why I think like that, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
because we're used to like the beaches we have here and then beaches in southwest, it just shits all over it. So
yeah,
if you come to Perth,
message us, man.
Message us.
I love making itineraries for people travelling. I love making itineraries.
That's what I legit did all weekend.
Yeah, it's like hit me up if you want to know what to do in Perth, Western Australia, or Slovenia.
Yeah.
Or I'm pretty good with Switzerland as well.
Yeah.
At least some areas. But I'd love to help you out. Really good trip, Western Australia. Very undervalued, underrated of a trip.
Agreed.
Yeah. That annoys me heaps.
Yeah. How about you? What's your one for today?
My one for today is I just fucking can't stop biting my nails, It's annoying me.
So
unless I paint them all again.
So what do you hate then? That you bite your nails?
Yeah.
So you're not liking your own habit?
Yeah.
So you need to break your own habit?
Yeah. And I've broken it once before in my entire life. I'm like a vicious nail biter. It's bad.
Yeah, he is.
But
I think you just need to paint your nails again. But then that's just a constant cycle.
Well, not if that one time where I stopped. I can't remember what made me start again. I literally stopped for like 3 months and I thought, fuck, I can't believe I've stopped. I thought I was never going to be able to stop. A bit of a rough patch at that time, so I think that might have helped me stopping, but...
I think you just need to paint the nails. It works best.
I need. But people were like, why the fuck are your nails painted?
Can't you like go like a clear colour?
Nah, won't work.
Have you implemented the habits from Atomic Habits on how to break a habit?
A little bit, not really, to be honest. I know them, but I haven't. I might
Are
do
you
that
conscious of when you do it? So you just need to be conscious of when you do it.
sometimes. But I've noticed now, because I'm just really focused on working. Sometimes I notice I'm biting my nails badly, and in my head I'm just like, if that's your vice, if that's what's going to make you keep working, bite the fuck out of your nails, man. It's almost like
But that's like saying, oh, someone is having 10 coffees a day. Oh, yeah, but it helps him work.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But the only when you have 10 coffees, you obviously fucking nervous system's completely crashed out. Whereas here, the negative is that my nails look gross. They get really sore sometimes, but that's it. It's not really affecting.
And you can't open the part of the camera.
Yeah. Besides that, that's why I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, if I can just I'm absolutely knackered, but instead of doing anything else bad, if I can just deal with biting my nails, just let myself bite my nails, and I can just continue to work. You know, it's literally like having a kid that's nagging you and you just hand them the iPad.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's not good for them.
It's a bit different.
It's not good for them, but, it's giving me...
I think you just need to implement the habits from Atomic Habits.
Yeah, habit stacking maybe, the 2-minute rule.
Yeah. Give it a crack, and I'll catch up with you next week on the pod and ask how you're going.
I'll try not bite my nails for a week, but it'll be tough.
Yeah.
It'll be really tough, especially with a couple of days coming up.
I believe you. You can get it done.
Yeah, thanks. That's what you need, belief. Over and under.
Over unders.
Is that your thing? Your jingle?
Yeah, jingle, over unders. Alright, exercise. Sissy squat.
Underrated. I reckon it's great for building quads. And also getting knee over toe, deep flexion. It's really good as well.
I agree.
Trying to be in short and sharp, but I could go on for hours if you want me to. But
yeah, no, that's good. Sport, surfing.
Performing surfing, I think, is quite underrated in terms of just the mental clarity it brings, and it's just a form of mindfulness, which is really good. As a sport, it doesn't excite me that much. I do see some massive big wave riders, or I see someone do a 720 and I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. Yeah. But it doesn't tickle my fancy that. It wouldn't be one of the first sports I go to watch.
Yeah, I never watch it, but the one time a year I do it, when you get a wave, it's a sick feeling.
Oh, it's an unbelievable
feeling. That's what I think, when surfers who surf a lot, do they always get that feeling or what?
It would wear down.
But still, they'd have you ask them, they just say how much they love it. So I think it's severely underrated.
Yeah.
But in terms of exactly what you said, as a sport of watching it, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it, but I love doing it a couple of times a year. But if it was no. I'll go on for too long.
Random, riding a bike.
Riding a bike is probably one of the most underrated things you can do as a human being.
I agree. It's so many benefits.
There's so many benefits. What are the negatives? You might get a sore bum and you might crash.
And you might get a flat tire.
Yeah. If you get tubeless, then you eliminate one of those 3 things.
Yeah. But riding your bike at sunset?
Riding your bike, everything is better riding your bike. I've seen cities on foot, and I've seen them in cars, and then I've seen them on a bike, and on a bike just hits different.
Yeah, I agree. That wind coming and you're just exploring a new place.
I think it especially for example, I'll be in fucking a freeway in Berlin, and then on a bike, no helmet because you don't wear helmets there, and you're just fuck, I'm really at this place right now.
Yeah.
Makes you extremely present.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas sometimes you won't get that presence from presence from just walking and stuff like that.
I agree. A quick word from our sponsors, us, SJs. We train, talk shit, and help you move better. You can do the same by checking out our 7-day free trial in the show notes.
Question 1. How to cope with managing wrist tendonitis. I'm tree planting in BC. The impact of the job is giving me tendonitis in my wrist. What should I do? From Tini, an SJ's member.
OG Tini.
Good guy.
A future producer.
Yeah, he's our producer as well, actually. So it's funny that he sent us a message. I'll keep it short and sweet.
It's pretty hard.
Whatever is giving you the most pain, just try to stop doing it right now. That's like, because obviously that repetitiveness of planting, all tendinopathy and tendonitis is like an irritation of a tendon from like overuse and doing the same thing pretty much over and over again. Like Achilles and knee is different-ish. Going on a tangent is different-ish to wrist tendonitis, but just quickly, stop doing the thing that's agitating it the most. Figure out a way to manipulate what you need to do to make it a little bit easier on that soreness, and just spam isometrics. Isometrics. So the isometrics will hurt as you're doing them, but you've just got to hold for 45 seconds or more and do about 4 or 5 sets of that. Get that tendon a little bit opened up, stop the stress shielding, and get a bit of blood and nutrients into it.
Would you do that at the start of the day or the end of the day?
I would do it like 2 times a day.
Like before and after work?
Yeah, maybe. I'd probably do it before work and then sometime after.
After a bit of rest.
He's doing tree plants.
It's pretty hard.
He's in the trenches right now.
It's pretty hard because he's never really resting.
Yeah.
He's working 7 days a week.
So that's it. So I'd figure out a way to plant that's less stressful on that wrist tendonitis.
Yeah.
And then I would just work on the isometrics, and then you're going to be in a bit of pain. Take some painkillers, some Panadols, because I don't know how long you've got left, maybe like a month, but you're just going to have to nut it out.
You're going through the trenches, but keep going.
You're going to have to nut it out, because... question 2. I'm currently working 4 jobs. They've mentioned the job. 1 school-based, 2 coaching S&C, 1 personal training. Didn't realise those were different. Oh, they are different. And I'm finding it really hard to go to the gym. I'm struggling to do even 1 day myself. What do I do? Microdose.
Yeah, microdose definitely. And then if you've got time at home, if getting to the gym is actually like an extra 20 minutes.
What do you mean getting to the gym?
Oh, they work at the gym.
Bro, they work 3 jobs at the gym, because who are you listening to?
Yeah, microdose.
That's it.
And just prioritise like what exercises are most important and just get them. Like you don't need to forget that you're going to be able to get normal sessions in. Just prioritise what's most important.
But that's it. Microdosing, if you don't know, is a term used in pharmaceuticals originally. So instead of giving someone a full dose of something, you just give them a smaller amount of it. Same thing works with training. So there's a few ways you could approach this situation. You could microdose once a day, so maybe a 20-minute quick session. And then the good thing about that is, like Sam said, you will select the appropriate exercises, the best bang for your buck, because you've only got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The other way you could potentially do it is habit stacking. So say as I go on this break, because you work at 2-3 gyms, as I go on this break, I'm going to do 3 sets of this exercise. You go on 2 breaks a day. You've just done 3 sets of 2 different exercises. So 6 sets in total. And that is enough. If you do that 4 times a week, that's the equivalent of like 2 30-minute sessions a week.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do. You got to microdose. You work at a gym. It's not like you work at a bank or something. So
yeah, getting there isn't the hard part.
Yeah,
like I thought.
It's not like you're at work and you go, oh, I've got to go to somewhere with equipment. The equipment's there.
5-minute rule too. Like if you're ever unsure if you're going to be able to get it done, just rip in, start, see where it takes you, and then if you need to stop because work's starting again or whatever, stop. But
another thing you could do is just 1 extremely hard set, 10 RPE.
Yeah.
Like, just go to a leg extension and just rip the thing till you...
Drop the load, and drop the amount you're doing and just increase intensity.
Yeah.
Instead of doing 3 sets, just do 1 or 2, but...
Yeah.
Like you said, RPE 10. Rip the skin off.
Rip the skin off the thing. There's a couple of options for you there. I hope that helps. Final question. From Womanfield, a former SJ's member. Had to go off on his own journey, so
He still pops in for a session though.
he's still social. Is running a sport?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I think he's meaning like the people who just run casually, because he would obviously know that running is a sport. Do you reckon that's what he's referring to? Like people who just run and post in Strava?
Probably. But then what constitutes something being a sport?
Are you competing for something?
Yeah, that's probably a good example of what a sport is.
Yeah.
So
Are they competing against themselves? I don't know.
yeah, well then isn't anything a sport if you're competing against yourself? Can't you do that with everything?
Yeah.
Does that make painting a sport?
It's no, but no.
Well, your example is the best
Yeah.
one I can think of, though. Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is a sport. Yeah.
Like you raise your heart rate considerably high. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is a sport, but I can't really explain much how, excluding that you are kind of competing against yourself and you are performing somewhat vigorous activity.
Yeah.
Physical activity, that is.
Yeah. So it's a sport.
Yeah. It's like when people say it's dance, you know, when people are like, oh, dancing's not a sport. And it's like, well, how is it not a sport, cuz?
Yeah.
How?
Especially if they're competing.
Yeah. Plus the physical attributes you need to be a dancer, like a ballet dancer.
Oh.
Exceptional athlete.
Crazy.
But that's it. If you ever have any questions, just feel free to reach out, DM us.
Shout out Mitch Corver wearing his jumper today.
That jumper went to Holland before Mitch Corver did, and he says he's Dutch. Remember, this podcast is powered by SJ's Community. Get around it. You will not regret it. It's cheap as chips.
7-day free trial. Link in our bio.
Yeah.
Yeah.